Today, we'll be talking about prisoner's dilemma theory in economics. I'll start it off with what is it? Prisoner dilemma shows how individuals' rational behavior can lead to a suboptimal collective outcome. So, what that means is when two people have their own goals and say two companies want to make the most money, so they both bring their sales down. This is not the most optimal way for them to make money because they keep driving each other's prices down. But if they decided to both agree and raise the prices equally, they would both in turn make more money. In turn, and why mechanisms like contracts, regulations, or incentives are often needed to encourage cooperation in economic setting. So that's saying is usually people will not think of working together or coming together. All they'll do is think of it themselves unless there's any type of like things that are going to stop it or incentives that are going to give them the idea to keep going. So back to my first example. Imagine two firms, Firm A and Firm B, that dominate a market. Both firms have to decide whether to collaborate or to compete in terms of pricing and product offerings. Cooperate slash collaborations, both firms agree to set their price at a higher level. So this is what I said earlier, which would ensure that both firms in turn earn substantial profits. They do not undercut each other, keep the market stable and profitable for both. So this is the most optimal thing that they can do. But what ends up happening is they compete. So each firm can choose to undercut the other by lowering their prices to capture a larger share of the market. This would increase their sales but lower the overall profits for both firms. Because the price competition would lead to a price war. In the prisoner dilemma, the two firms would compete in order to try to get the most sales. So they would both compete because they're selfish. They want the most sales, so they're not looking at the bigger picture. They're just trying to get more clients, which means more money. So how do we fix the prisoner dilemma? So, the most logical way and the biggest way to fix this dilemma is to apply super rationality. Okay, what is it? So, super rationality is a concept that applies to the prisoner's dilemma, particularly in scenarios where individuals are faced with a decision that involves strategic thinking, not just about their own interests, but also about the reasoning process of others. In simple terms, super rationality refers to a situation where players recognize that the other player will think in the same way and thus both arrive at a cooperative decision. This usually does not happen unless there's an incentive or there's a regulation that's stopping them from doing this. Due to just how humans are, they're naturally selfish. They're selfish. All they want is for most money for themselves. So it's hard to get two people who think like this. But when you get two people who think like this, they'll get the most and most optimal levels of earnings or benefits out of each other due to them both agreeing and acknowledging how each other think.